Hello, welcome to Theosophy in Wales. I'm Dave Marsland. Loss of past life memory is a necessary part of reincarnation. Or put it another way, why isn't being reborn like waking up next morning? So let's have a look at it. Well, you'll retain an essence of your last life and all the previous lives that you've lived through your higher principles. Your higher principles will retain an essence of what you have learned. But for all practical purposes, we are currently living the life we have chosen, we've chosen the best life available for what we need to learn. And that means we need a fresh start, a clean slate. Now, I've got a cricketing analogy with this. A batsman comes out to play his innings, and he will have the experience of previous innings and possibly a great deal of cricketing experience, but each game will be different. The light, the quality of the bowling and the state of the wicket and the field will be different for every game. And there's little use in him relying on previous performances except on the experience that they've given him. It's the game he's playing now is the one that counts, and he's showing what he can do today, and that's the clean slate, and that's where he has to begin. He can't bring his previous performances with him. He starts with a clean slate. Now, there are some people who can remember bits of past lives, and there may be a reason for that, and that if you can remember little bits of past lives, the reason for that may be revealed to you as you face the challenges of the life you're living now. That may come up as to why you can actually remember something from a previous life. Or perhaps sometimes people just can remember things from past lives, and there's no real explanation for it. Now, what would be the situation if you were able to remember past lives? This is actually to remember them anyway, not bring them up through some meditation or hypnotic regression, which I'll mention in a minute. Firstly, it would be confusing about who you are. Your current identity, previous identity, yes, you wouldn't know exactly who you were. This has actually happened with children who've been reincarnated, and they can remember being the child before, that they were before. So that for your life would not be too helpful, I don't think. Also, it would distract from what you need to do in this life. You've got sort of challenges to face, you've got things to learn, challenges to face, and there may be a tendency to retreat into fantasy of a previous life, particularly a very successful previous life. So that would be something to think about. There may be stuff in a previous life that you can't handle. I mean, there's things in this life that probably most people have had trouble dealing with and rather forget about. If you've got stuff from several lives, I think that could be the same problem writ large. So that's one of the reasons I think that past life regression should be left alone. Okay, you've got the confusion of past lives, but there's also, and P.D. Ouspensky talked about this, he came up with the theory of eternal recurrence, that some people live a successful life, and this doesn't necessarily mean that they can remember past lives, but some people lead a successful life, and they repeat the trick over again. And he said that successful sportsmen and business people can be in this category. It's in Ouspensky's book, A New Model of the Universe. And he said that some people get into a cycle of eternal recurrence, of repeating more or less the same life again, until and learning nothing. They don't learn anything. They don't make no progress, and eventually something will knock them out of it, and then they can move on and make progress. Okay, now recalling past lives. I think H.P. Blavatsky really was keen on people leaving that alone. But okay, if you want to do it, meditation. There are meditation tapes available, CDs now. So meditation CDs available, and I don't think this does any harm, because I don't think that you'll open up anything that you're not ready to deal with. You may open up past lives, but there'll be nothing there that, if you can't deal with it, it won't be opened up. Because if you think about it, if you've suffered trauma in a past life, you're done with it and you don't want it back again. And this is one of my problems I have with hypnotic regression, what that might open up. Okay, hypnotic regression. Now, magazines like Kindred Spirit have over the years had adverts for past life healing, and that's great. There's some people have claimed quite spectacular results with this, that something, an illness in this life is due to something happened in a previous life. And yes, that's probably, yeah, I can't really argue with that. Some people say they're much better for having done this. But watch out, make sure you go to a qualified hypnotherapist who carries insurance, because I think anybody can offer this service, because you don't want to go home clucking like a chicken. Anyway, hypnotic regression, if you're doing it for entertainment, I think that there is a risk that you're going to open up something that you can't deal with in this life, and I think it's better left alone. Some theosophists also argue that by opening up past lives, you're reactivating latent karma, and you're going to suddenly have to deal with stuff. This is positive, negative, of course, but you're going to have to deal with stuff that you don't really want to deal with all at once. So that perhaps is something to consider. But that's a decision that you would take yourself, as you wish to be hypnotised to remember past lives, and you may have your own specific reasons for doing it. Okay, there we are. I think that gives a general rundown of why we can't remember past lives, and we've all lived past lives. Some people give this as a reason that past reincarnation doesn't exist. The fact you can't remember past lives, or can't normally remember past lives, is given as an argument that reincarnation doesn't exist. But it's not as simple as that, and I think really for most of us, I think we don't know what's happened in past lives. There may be stuff that we don't want dragged up, and I think perhaps it's better left alone. But again, the decision is yours, up to you.